Hello, assalamu alaikum, Jianu, Pakhair Ragale, Ni Hama, Chumeshume, Washmale, Ohio Gonzalez, Guten Morgen, Privet, and hi hugs and hellos to everybody who's tuned into PT World and are watching World this morning alongside Shazad Khan. Thank you very much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And for everybody who's just about to leave their homes, please make sure that you guys are on your way towards work or school. If you guys are going to drop your kids to school or university, please drive safely and wear your seatbelts. That's the first thing. First things first, obviously. That's the public service message from the airwaves of PT World and World this morning. We hope that everybody's doing great. It's getting colder and colder day by day. Please make sure that you guys keep yourselves warm as well. I don't want any one of you to fall sick just because of the fact that they weren't very cautious. For example, okay, now the first thing which I get to hear in the morning is, for example, if I took a shower and I'm not wearing my slippers. As soon as I'm going to go down, my mom's going to pull my ear and she'll be like, why aren't you wearing your slippers? You fall sick. So, this is one thing. Please look after that. And then please do not drink cold water, cold drinks. That might make you feel a bit itchy over here as well. And then you might not feel great. And then you might have to miss work. So please make sure that wherever you are, be safe and stay healthy. Now getting started with the conversation. As you all know that, every day we come up with a vegetable of the day. So today what we have done is that we have picked up on radish. So I think I'm going to tell you all the benefits of radish as well as soon as you're going to see the vegetable. Let's do it. Together, guys. Go on. All right, I think that's how radish looks though, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't, seen it. The radish is an edible root vegetable. And, basically the benefits are that it lowers cancer risk, regulates blood pressure, good for diabetics, beats cold and cough. Okay, so for winters, I think it's going to be helpful as well. Helps you recover from jaundice, fights constipation, helps with weight loss, good for asthma patients, keep you looking younger, keeps the kidney healthy as well. Wow, amazing, amazing that is. So these are the benefits of radish as well. And since it helps you, reduce cough and get rid of all of those sore throats as well. So I think it's a wonderful vegetable to have in winters. So please take full advantage of being in a country where there are too many seasons that you can grow pretty much all the vegetables and fruits. So go ahead and keep a balanced diet as well. So that's about it about radish. And now coming back, yeah. So now, ladies and gentlemen, since yesterday when we got done with the shows, we were sitting and we were discussing, what to do a show on. And I think I'm going to take pride in it that, this is for the very first time or the second time that we are doing it on our show World this morning. For example, whenever I come in the morning, I say, Assalamu alaikum, Jianu, Pakhair Agale, Privet, Guten Morgen. These are different languages. For example, English we all know is an international language and everybody can understand that. But just saying that hello and hi in somebody's native language might really make them feel that, as it's a warm welcome, or probably how does this guy know it? Now, that's where you communicate. Since the time that this world's made, there has been tremendous number of languages out there. But if in case there weren't any translators, we wouldn't have been able to connect. And now earlier, from the 5th till the 8th of January, there was a national conference going on about literature as well, and poets and writers were there, where Prime Minister Saab actually even mentioned and said that, to curb extremism and terrorism, we should utilize our poets and writers as well. But do we appreciate them quite a lot in our life? Do we read books? I mean, reading should be a habit. We have done tremendous number of shows on reading as well. But other than that, world economies, this globalization wouldn't have been possible if translators and interpreters weren't around. And it's a tough job to do. So that's what we are discussing, role of translation within the society and globally as well. And I'm amazed that I've got such amazing and wonderful guests over here on the show as well. I'm going to introduce to you Dr. Inamullah Ghazi. He's the head of Department, Translation and Interpretation from International Islamic University. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Absolutely
I was good
perfect.
morning.
All
Yes,
good.
I'm
Was it really
good.
hard to get up in the morning or it wasn't?
No, it's quite usual, I
Thank you
get in
very
the
much
early
for coming
morning.
over, sir. The honor is all
Thank you
mine.
for
And alongside
inviting.
Dr. Inamullah, we've got Mr. Javed Hafiz, the former ambassador as well. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Ji, walaikum salam, I'm fine.
Thank you very much. I love your attitude. Goes with the show as well. Thank you very much for coming over. Thank you very much for joining us. And the next name which I'm going to take is, it's not the very first time that he's coming over the show. He's been around. He's smiling right now, and he's a shy person as well. But I love his accent, the way he speaks. He's none other than Mr. Arshad Ali. He's an assistant professor at Namal University. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum
How are
salam.
you?
I'm good.
Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
But to get started with the conversation, Dr. Inam Saab, I think I'll give you the opportunity. So this national conference even took place from 5th January till the 8th of January. Quite a lot of writers, poets, they came in. But even then, at that time, I was thinking, were there people or writers or poets from the other parts of the world?
Yes, I actually attended some of the sessions of this really great event.
All right.
Because the literati, the intellectuals, the writers, the poets of various parts of the country, they got together here and they had a very good opportunity for exchanging their views. And I personally learned a lot because we deal with the translation. We have a full-fledged department of translation at our university with two degree programs. One is BS Translation and Interpretation, and the other is MS Translation Studies. And I personally, it was a discovery for me that, how beautiful languages we have in our country.
Yeah.
And I also met some of the people from other countries like Turkey, Oman, India, and so on and so forth. I mean, the event was very wonderful, and this, enlightened my mind as far as the translation is concerned.
And sir, to be very honest, I think this was the very first time that I actually got to know that there's a discipline such as translation and interpretation as well. Yeah. So people, wow, I mean, congratulations to Pakistan as well. But what is the true essence of translation? What do we mean when we say translation and interpretation?
You see, literally the word translate has been borrowed from Latin. We use in English translation, which literally means, or etymologically, which means, carrying across. If I take this thing from here and put this there, that I translate.
That's probably shifting.
No, I translate it.
Yeah.
Now, what do I translate? Literally, do I translate things, or do I translate commodities, or message, or words, and so on and so forth? See, the point is, if I give you some analogies to just explain the process of translating and the importance of translation.
Make sure they're not that difficult.
You see, if suppose the world is without roads.
Okay.
No traveling, no
airplanes
contact with the
still
people.
There, sir.
Yeah, the world is without airplanes.
Okay.
The world is without, the networking. Now we have, these satellite systems.
Exactly.
So the translation exactly, fits here. Although because it is something intangible.
Yeah.
It is connecting the minds of the different people. If you just visualize that the people on this, region of the world and here, and the minds are connected, the only effective mean is translation.
Thank you very much for bringing up that point. I think that's where I wanted to move on to. Now, Mr. Javed sir. Sir, we do say, Dr. Inam sir very correctly mentioned that, it connects the world. You have been an ambassador. You've been to 4 different countries. You've been posted over there. Is it really like this? Do you think that translation is the only link in between all of the regions of the world?
Indeed it is. In fact, see, various countries have various national languages.
Yeah.
And the foreign offices around the world insist that all the embassies should send the letters and the note verbals in their language as well.
All right.
Now, Pakistan uses English as the official language. When I was in Greece, I would write my note verbal in English, but then it had to be translated into Greek because it was a Greek requirement.
Yeah.
When I was in Oman, Muscat, every note verbal had to be translated into Arabic.
All right.
In fact, it becomes an official duty when you are in the embassy to translate these letters and note verbals into the local official language.
All right.
So it is a must. Without translation, the embassies would not function.
So for all those ambassadors who are actually representing other countries and are in Pakistan, so all of their notes are being translated into Urdu as well?
No, into English.
Into English. But now, the Supreme Court ordered, I never wanted to jump ahead, but they have ordered that Urdu is our official language. So why is it being done?
Why isn't being done?
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm a retired person.
It's all right. It's perfectly all right. But that's why I just
You
wanted
should ask
to...
this from the government of Pakistan, but this, Justice Khwaja,
Yeah.
Justice Jawad Khwaja was a great proponent of Urdu as an official language. And in our constitution also, we had promised that Urdu, after a certain amount of period, length of period, would become the official language.
All right.
Unfortunately, that has not been implemented,
Yeah.
like so many other things. But we have to, this transition has to be made.
Exactly. I mean, we need to work on it.
And what I foresee is, for example, I was in Canada.
Yeah.
Canada has two official languages, English and French.
Yeah.
Every official document has to be in these two languages. I think in the transition period, because it will be difficult for our babus to shift from English to Urdu immediately.
And initially, it was so difficult for us to move from Urdu to English as well. So people came up with British accents, American accents, and their own Pakistani accent, and then there were accents which you couldn't even understand as well.
So our offices will have to be bilingual
Yeah.
for, say, a transition period of 5 years, when everybody will be free either to write the note on the file in English or in Urdu,
Yeah.
and then ultimately switch over to Urdu as the only national language. But then people like people like you and me, who make their living by speaking English or writing in English, would also get out of use, and our jobs will not.
No, but we are certainly bilingual as well, sir. Come
Okay.
on, I'm at work, bro.
I want to add one thing to what Ambassador Sahab has said. You see, when we say official language, we are talking about the terminologies, the language phrases used for official purposes, official correspondence, and maybe some part of the legal terminology is also involved in those.
Sorry, sir, I'm stopping you over here, but is there a shorthand for Urdu as well?
There is, of
There
course.
is,
There is shorthand. And recently, one book is published by the late. I would use this
So
term.
the more we
late
talk
Muqtada
about it, it's going to
Qaumi
get a
because
bit more difficult as well. But I just wanted to, get Mr. Arshad Ali Sahab into the conversation. That is, since you're an assistant professor at Namal University, which is a national university for modern languages. Okay, we have seen that, everybody's talking about CPEC as well. Quite a lot of Chinese are moving over here. Quite a lot of Pakistanis are going over there. So that's true to say that, language translation and interpretation is going to create quite a lot of jobs over here in Pakistan alongside the economic corridor. Have you seen the influx of students coming in and saying that we want to learn Chinese?
Yeah, I think there has been increase in the Department of Chinese, that people are like now coming in and learning Chinese.
Yeah.
And I think our university is also planning to establish one campus in Gawada to help people, in Chinese, Arabic, and English. So I think, yes, I mean, there is a trend now that people are interested in Chinese, and even Chinese officials are interested in introducing this language in different universities. And they've run some programs at some universities like NUST, right? So yes, Chinese officials are promoting this language, and plus people are kind of finding, a sort of, a kind of advantage in learning Chinese language since because of CPAC stuff.
Okay, now that's one thing. Thank you very much for saying that, because it's going to help me with the conversation as well. That's how translation and interpretation are actually having an impact on societies. That's how societies are being shaped now. That if there's a need of an hour, okay, people will go into it, learn it, come out of it, and then obviously the society is going to change. One person starts speaking it, the next generation and generations, but then the only problem is, don't you think that for all those people, all those Pakistani who went abroad, probably in the West or wherever they were, they learned their language, probably even in Oman or wherever they went, they started speaking Arabic. Now, for example, if they became residents, which they wanted to initially, when it was 1970s or 60s, now it's their third or fourth generation coming out. So it's a question for you. And their kids have forgotten what their national language was, what the original heritage was. How do you think we can preserve that? It just can't be dependent on translators and interpreters.
Are you talking about just the Arab world or
No, no,
the
everybody,
Western world?
everybody. For example, if they have been a resident over there, they've been there.
Of course.
You know, they've got their
Pakistani kids abroad.
Yeah.
they've got 3 or 4 generations now. The third or fourth generation can hardly even understand a word of Urdu, and they don't want to learn.
I think the number is very few. My
Okay.
personal observation is because I'm basically a teacher and a language learner as well.
Yeah.
And I think so far they are bilingual, because many people are coming to my department from Saudi Arabia and from Sudan and other countries where they were originally they were Pakistani, they were born there, this third generation, and they are a little bit, as for the spoken language is concerned,
Yeah.
they are bilingual.
Okay.
But your point is, of course, is very valid one, because we are not promoting. I'm sorry, because I'm just drifting from your question. We are not promoting Urdu language among us.
Yeah.
How can we, think about those who are residing outside the
No,
country?
but this is the only
and,
English
and,
channel in
and bringing
Pakistan.
them back
I mean,
to
come
our
on.
culture and our
It's
language.
for all those people who are out
No,
there.
what I want, you see,
Yeah.
just to relate what Javed Hafiz Sahab said earlier. You see, the Urdu as an official language, I tell you, there is no need to work, because the lot of work has been done. I personally know, huge number of dictionaries, languages, everything.
Yeah.
The procedures, the administrative, the tiers and everything
Yeah.
is ready. It is the political will as for the official language.
Yeah.
Because if you want to make Urdu as an intellectual used in the universities for teaching physics, chemistry, and so on, so we need to work. This is something else. But as for the official language, the lot, there's a lot that we can benefit from.
I mean, the only irony is over here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry to bring it up as well, and that is that, just go out to maximum number of Pakistanis, ask them to read their Alif Bay out, and just see how many people are going to get it correct. And then, ask the same person to read you ABC out, and see how many people are going to get it correct as well. We're going to go for a short break. Don't go anywhere, because the conversation is going to get very interesting over here at this point. And then we really need to see whether translation helps us or it does not. I think that's what it is. Let's take a break. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned in. And for everybody who just got tuned in, you guys are watching PT World. And my name is Shazad Khan. And the show's name is World this morning as well. And today we are talking about the role of translation and interpretation. I've got worthy guests over here as well. And before going towards the break, the only thing I mentioned was that, for example, if we go out to Pakistanis and say, okay, go ahead, read us Alif Bay Pay. Many of them, in fact, majority of them are going to get it wrong. And if we are going to say, go ahead, read out ABC, they're going to get it all correct as well. Now, as a matter of fact, 5 generations have been probably in England, but they still know Punjabi. Pashtuns, 5 or 6 generations have been living abroad, they still know Pashto. Why do you think that I think I'm not going to say Punjabi because I still know Punjabi, I am the 4th generation as well, right? But then at the same time, there are people who think that we might not take pride in speaking our national language or our own language as well. What's wrong over here, sir? Sikhs are getting it right, Pashtuns are getting it right, Sindhis are getting it right, but on a bigger platform, on a macro scale, Urdu is the language, right? So why are we,
You see, the quick answer in one word is lack of political will.
lack of political will?
Yes, at the part of course, the state, I would use the word state
Yeah.
first, and of course the governments. the-
Let's ask Mr. Javed sir about it.
Well, my answer would be, you see, I have 3, in fact, I know 5 languages, Persian, Arabic, English, Urdu, and Punjabi.
Very nice.
English is my official language. I'm speaking this at the moment. Punjabi is my mother tongue. That is the language that I must take pride in because
Yeah.
my mother spoke, that was the first language that my mother spoke to me.
Yeah. आप उधर
uh,
की हाल है?
हाँ जी तो that is, you see, unfortunately in Punjab, the general thinking is that this is the language, Punjabi is the language of Sikhs.
Okay.
Now, languages don't have religions.
Yeah. Exactly.
Punjabi is as much a language of the Punjabi Muslims as it is the language of Punjabi Sikhs. So, that is one fallacy that we have to do away with. And then secondly, one thing that impeded growth of Punjabi was that till now we don't have a script for Punjabi in the Arabic alphabet.
Yeah.
They have it in Gurmukhi, but we don't have it in the Arabic. We haven't developed a script. So that is what has impeded. And the Punjabis, because you go to a village, and as long as the Punjabi is somewhat educated, say a metric or something, he starts speaking Urdu to his children.
Yeah.
And when he comes to the city, then the next thing is that he would start speaking English to his kids, and they would forget the local languages.
Thank you very much. That's where we wanted to get. I mean, the conversation is so streamlined. Now, that's what it is. Okay, since we all know that translation and interpretation does play a role for human development. Now, that's where I wanted to hit. For example, if you go back in 1990s, that was the time when in our drama or, whatever television we used to watch, probably I still have clips on my cell phone right now where we could see Muin Akhtar trying to speak English as well. Or, if you might have seen that drama on PTV, Way Rano Way, they've actually tried to speak English. They have glamorized it at that time just because of the fact they wanted us to, get better, to be groomed, if that's what they think. What happened now? Why are we getting back? I mean, do we really have... I mean, it should be a balance. I'm not saying that it should just be Urdu because it's going to be beneficial for all of us, for all the young kids. You have 60% population of all those youngsters who are out there. If they're going to be bilingual, it's going to be beneficial for them anyways in their life. But what are we doing? Are we confusing ourselves?
No, we are not confusing. We are not actually addressing the real issues,
Okay.
in my personal opinion. Because when I talk in favor of Urdu,
Yeah.
people think, or the opponents, I would
Yeah.
use the word opponents, they think that I am talking in favor of Urdu at the cost of English.
Okay.
Whereas this is purely an academic matter. We need to answer certain questions. When, how much, where and why.
Okay.
Because Urdu as a national language, where it should be taught, from where? Class 1 to till 10th
Yeah.
or 5th or whatever. We decide that.
Yes.
We need to, we need to be very, we should use some methodology to decide about these issues, because these are basically educational issues.
Exactly.
So grade 10 Urdu, and then you start English, more focus on English, because we need to connect with the other part of the world. It's a national language.
We need to read all of those books which the school guys are going to give.
We need to translate them as well.
Exactly.
We need to translate them. It's matter, we suppose I'm saying 100% percentage. What percentage the importance should get Urdu, or what percentage the importance should get, and in which area, and when, for
Exactly.
what purposes. You know, these are the issues. We are not discussing these
I think
issues in details.
That's a very valid point, that, you know, it depends where you are, which situation you are in, where you need to take advantage of which of the languages which you know. For example, if you know 5 languages, sir, obviously you'll figure it out where to speak which language. I mean, if I'm going to go to my village, obviously Punjabi is the language. If I'm going to speak Urdu, they're going to beat me with a slipper as well.
I just
That's
want
good
to,
point.
you know, I just want to, because this is a very important point. Historically, the whole
Yeah.
region has been bilingual, or sometime, you know, more than languages. People used to learn more than languages.
Yeah.
You see, you know, 1,000 years and all that. So we will remain bilingual. This is for sure, I tell you.
But okay, originally my question was, how does it affect human development, interpretation and translation? I want to bring the conversation back to
being bilinguals, or what?
no, just translation and interpretation. How does it
Yeah,
affect human development? Human development.
You see,
Yeah.
you see, you know, my exposure. If I'm living in a village,
Yeah.
so my exposure, or my, you know, experience, life experience, would be at a certain level.
Okay.
And if I have interaction with the people of the other villages, I travel to them, talk to them, and then from here take, you know, the cities and the words, and there, you see, it's just, you know, right from the personal development to the coexistence, to understanding of the other people. You know, the translation, it's a great, I tell you. We as in other areas, we have very less awareness about this important area.
Okay.
That is translation.
Let's see if Arshad Saab can highlight
I think
the importance of it.
Yes, I think it plays a very important role in human development, in the sense that since I do not know all the languages of the world,
Yeah.
I know just 2 languages, English and Urdu, or maybe some Punjabi.
All right.
Now, I cannot approach something and understand something that is being produced in Latin,
Yeah.
or being produced in any other language of the world,
Yeah.
right? So for that, what I need, I have to get a translated copy of that work.
Okay.
So that work which is being produced in Italy, being translated for me, that is somehow helping expanding my knowledge.
Exactly.
Right. So that's how it basically connects me to altogether different culture, to altogether a different world, and altogether different people.
And you can learn from them.
Yes, I can learn from them, and that's how it is helping me understand the things which are basically going on, the discoveries being made in certain language and certain culture. So that's how I think it helps in human development, human knowledge.
And
human
how does it
understanding.
help as an assistant professor as well?
Well,
Because that's your walk of life, right?
yes, I mean, as far as language learning, it
Yes,
does. Yes, I
exactly.
mean, GTM. If you talk about GTM, grammar translation method, it has been, you know, a very popular method of teaching language. Yes, I mean, the text used to be translated first, and then, you know, taught to the people, and then you know, they were told how to translate one work into another
Yeah.
work. So yes, as a teacher of language, yes, it does help. Translation does help in teaching
Yeah.
language.
Javed Saab, your take
Well,
on this.
I'll give some examples from history.
So,
Translation has played a pivotal role in human development. The world today, as it is today, would not have been there
Yeah.
like this if there was no translation.
exactly.
For
Or
example-
subtitles underneath the movies, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
For example, in the Abbasid period, Mamun Rashid's tenure, there was a Bait al-Hikmah in Baghdad.
Okay.
This was the biggest library in the world at that time. He collected, there was a big translation section. He sent his scholars to India, to Persia, to Greece, to learn medicine, philosophy, chemistry, physics, astronomy. They went to all these countries, came back,
Yeah.
and put all this knowledge into Arabic.
Okay.
And then when the Muslims conquered Spain, then all these Arabic books went to Spain, and they were translated into Latin.
Very nice.
You see, Jabir bin Hayyan's Kitab al-Kimia, or Book of Chemistry, was translated by a person called Robert into Latin. Now, had these books not been translated from Arabic into Latin,
Yeah.
there would have been no European Renaissance.
Exactly.
And Renaissance is the period it is a period of discoveries, it is the period of economic development, of scientific development. That is when the modern development started in a big way.
All right.
So without translation, it would not have been possible.
Very right. I think very correctly said as well. And then there's another question which comes in my head right now and that is that, since sir, you're head of the department, so you'll probably have to answer it. But we right now, that question, ladies and gentlemen, is that half of the time people say that, if you translate poetry from one language to another language, it loses its essence. Now, does it really happen or not? But at this very point, we're going to, share a clip of one of our shows which was being aired on PT World, and it was just our, effort to probably make sure that people are going to learn English and correctly as well. So these are different methods as well. And the show's name is Mind Your Language. It was, in fact, but it's not being aired now because we think that people have learned enough. So go ahead, take a look at this clip as well. That was a little initiative by P2 World as well. Go ahead. We have been taking all these initiatives. When you come back, we'll ask whether, whenever you translate from one language to another, does it lose its essence or the core of it? Go ahead, take a look. Good morning.
Concentrate on the alphabet. I'm going to go around the class, and I want each of you to give me a word beginning with a different letter from the alphabet. Max, we'll start with you. A or A? A desk. No, Max, that's a D. All right, D-desk. No, Max, desk does not begin with the letter A. I want a word beginning with the letter A. A door. Good, a door. Well done.
Excuse, please.
Yes, Ali?
I'm not understanding why you are saying a desk is not right, but a door is right.
Ah, yes. Well, you see, when Max said a door, he was meaning the verb to adore. And although they do sound the same, he didn't mean a door. For example, this door. Am I right, Max?
Sure, you're right. I'm meaning any door.
At this rate, it'll take us a week to get through the alphabet. Oh, we'll try again, Max. Please give me a word beginning with the letter A. And I don't want A something, just one word beginning with the letter A. Think of a fruit.
Apple?
Apple. Good. Danielle. B.
B for brown.
Good.
B for beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. Anna. C.
Red.
Red. What's that got to do with C?
Red sea.
I want a word beginning with the letter C.
Cow.
Yes, well done. Tarot. D.
Awesome. Duck.
Darko. Well, dark.
Duck. Okay.
Yes, good. Jamila. E.
Evening.
Good. Excellent. Well done. Giovanni. F.
Thick.
Thick. That's right. No, there's no such word as thick.
Sure there is. My boss is English and he say lots of times, through thick and through thin.
Yes, well, your boss's grammar isn't very good, and don't give me the old chestnut about his grandma being very good for her age.
I not say that.
Good.
She's dead.
Quiet, everybody. Look, there's far too much levity in this class. Don't forget that you have your exams coming up shortly. Now, try and take it seriously, please. Giovanni, a word beginning with F.
Female.
Good. Well done. Suli. G.
Glade.
Glate.
As in Great Wall of China, built by glorious Chinese workers.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Suli.
Perdón.
Ah, Juan. Well, we were just going through the alphabet.
Por favor.
A, B, C, D, E.
Ah, sí, alfabeto. A, B, C, D.
Would you like to give me a word beginning with the letter H?
Sí. Pues, mira, por favor.
Palabra.
Palabra. July.
Hulai?
Sí. April, May, June, July.
No, that's a J. July. I want H.
Sí. Hacienda.
Yeah, well, I'll accept that.
Por favor.
It's all right, doesn't matter. Sit down. Good. Annie. I.
You are what?
A word beginning with the letter I.
Infidel. Are you meaning me?
Harry, sit down. Ranjit. J.
Jackass. Are you meaning me?
Most definitely.
Not your damn tail one of you, monkey face.
Quiet, please. Sit down, both of you. Danielle. K.
K for kind-hearted.
Good. Max, L. Elephant. Now, Max, try again. Lovely. Good. Anna, M.
Meistersinger.
Camilla, N.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that we share this clip just to bring smiles on your face as well, because it's early morning. And then we used to air this program on PTV World as well. It's one of the very famous around the globe as well. And it was just to highlight the importance of language and interpretation and translation as well. But now very quickly moving on to where we stopped, and that was that do we, for example, whenever we talk about cultural heritage, and we even talked about the conference which was taking place as well. So it is very essential for us to probably make sure that the shelf life of our books, poets, all of those people who have been there around, who have worked on the history of Pakistan as well, it increases. And to increase that, we do need interpreters and translators. But half of the time, there is a debate that people say that you lose the original essence and the thoughts of that particular person when you translate it to another language. Now, is it like that or is it not?
It is really. Okay. You see, some of the scholars, the modern scholars, they are including our thinking. What I am using the word, even my mother tongue or my national language, you are talking, I am writing, people are writing. Actually, this is also one kind of translation as well.
Okay.
So there are ideas in my mind, information in my mind, and I want to translate, carry across on paper or through my tongue, spoken language. So there are studies as well that we are unable, as human beings, we are unable to say what we want to say, express our mind completely.
Okay.
Now come to the translation. One text has been written in a language, and now there is a translation. So if there is a very famous concept of gain and loss in translation. So we gain something and we lose something as well in the translation.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about the poetry or the religious text, because these are, the issues are different. I'm talking about the day-to-day conversation. I give you one example. For example, if I say in Urdu, "Sadak par goliyan chal rahi hain," "Sadak par goliyan chal rahi hain." Now there, just do the analysis. There is a word "sadak," then "par," then "goliyan," then "chal rahi hain," the verb.
Yeah.
If I want to translate into Arabic or into English, I would gain something and I will lose something as well.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if I go for the word-for-word translation, I would say, as Google says,
Google
translation of this sentence.
I truly got it. I truly got the essence of it. Thank you very much for raising that point as well. But at times, I think Urdu makes our life easier. Because, for example, if I'm going to say something to you now, and you'll be like, "Sorry, I couldn't understand it. Please, can you say it again?" In Urdu, you would just say, "Hai."
In my
the other person going to say it again, right?
In Punjabi as well.
So that's how you lose so that's how you lose the essence. But now, sir, since we're running out of time as well, how do you think that this industry of translation and interpretation is working on probably in years to come, that we are going to see the people from Pakistan even emerging within this industry? Sir, I'll start with you.
See, unfortunately, the translation has not been treated as a profession in Pakistan. We have not graded the translators. This is translator level 1, level 2, level 3. We do not produce translators as we educate doctors or engineers or people in other professions, MBAs. Translation is a profession by itself, and it should be treated as such.
Exactly.
So we have to be serious about translation. It is being taught in, I think, 3 universities right now: Namal Islamic University and Gujarat University. But other universities should also teach translation as a subject scientifically through audiovisual means. Now it's become very easy. You can use computers, you can use television. And there is a lot of demand abroad for translation. Pakistan can take a lead in the region. There are Chinese who want to learn English, who want to learn Arabic. They can come to Pakistan. I've seen Chinese students in the Islamic universities. I'm sure they are also there in Namal. So we have to be serious about translation in Pakistan. We have not been serious so far.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's your message for today as well. But now, One last thing that is, and Arshad sahab, I think I'm going to continue with the conversation with you, but very quickly you have to say, yeah, I'm going to come back to you as well. Social media plays a very pivotal role and a very vital one. Now, if they have reached to a point where, for example, if you're going to comment on somebody's post, it gives you an option, translate. If they've got to that point, how many years do you think it will take us to probably get to a point where within the library we put a book under a reader or probably something else and press translate and it reads it out to us? Do you think that'll be possible for us?
I think maybe not in the near future, since a translator should be sensitive to the culture from where that actually text is produced.
Yes.
So since that machine cannot understand those cultural implications, the cultural intricacies and the complexities, so I don't think we can expect that kind of translation work from
But
machine.
I think these are the areas of translators and interpreters.
There is a concept called in machine translation called gisting. What you are referring to is actually gisting. You don't get complete translation, but you get the idea, what has been said or what has been written. You get that. The concept, as for the concept of gisting concerned, machine translation has reached to a very good level.
In Pakistan?
Not in Pakistan. You are
That's
talking about Pakistan.
obviously.
You see, you asked this question to Arshad Sahab, and I would answer this yes, and yes possible and not possible.
Go
yes
ahead.
possible if we work.
Okay.
You see, we have I think in every university we have Department of Software Engineering. The people who are working in software engineering, they have one branch called natural language processing.
Yeah.
And with natural language processing, there is a possibility. So we need to work together
Exactly.
to develop such softwares, such programs that facilitate communication between English and Urdu and even the local languages.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this is very correctly said. It's not just the responsibility of 3 universities within Pakistan. I think everybody from every field will have to put in their work, their hard work, and then come together if we want this to happen over here in Pakistan, and it can be a booming industry for all of us as well. Remember, CPEC, okay, quite a lot of people are going to learn Chinese alongside the economic corridor. Go ahead, you'll get quite a lot of job opportunities as well, and every now and then, read newspaper. There are those vacancies that people are actually asking for people who are very fluent in Chinese or probably in English or Urdu. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming over. Thank you very much for having a conversation. But you guys don't forget to log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G. On Dailymotion and YouTube, it's World This Morning once again. The fabulous repeat is going to be at 11 p.m. Don't forget to tune in. Look after yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow in the morning. Good morning. Bye.